Nearly 6 crore people call Gujarat their home. Nearly 10% of them are Muslims. Like in many other places, Old Ahmedabad is a densely Muslim populated neighborhood. The old lanes and by lanes of this neighborhood are dotted with signboards and hoardings written in Gujarati. On our quest to understand this election from the minority perspective, we reach Shama Madrasa School, a school for Muslim girls.
One of the popular minority schools in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Shama Madrasa. I have with me the principal, Zaida herself. Zaida, great initiative, educating the girl child. I know there is a slight hesitation when it comes to Muslim girls going to schools, and it seems like the dynamics have changed in Gujarat, more say in Ahmedabad. I see a large chunk of Muslim families here, very particular about educating the girl child. So that whole perception around the community being uneducated largely has fully changed in the last 20 years. Am I right?
Of course, the perception has definitely changed, and changed a lot, because now literacy is not at all a challenge. The few of hurdles that are sometimes faced are for the higher education, but for the basic schooling and all, I think that we can say that majority is educated. So what we are also striving is quality education, because basic education is definitely there.
Vision, I suppose, for you is largely to ensure the girl child is educated. And I see that happening here extensively.
Quality education, the holistic education, for that matter of fact, is what our vision and mission looks up to.
Excellent. But why do you call your school a madrasa? I mean, why can't it be a regular school?
Madrasa basically is a synonym of school. The Arabic word for school is a madrasa, and a school basically defines as a place where a child is being nurtured, educated, where the child is receiving knowledge. So we are teaching all those things.
Girls wearing hijab attend their classes, giggle in innocent exuberance of being filmed. Meeting a television journalist, the school is called the madrasa, but has computers, CCTV and labs like any other modern school.
CCTV surveillance right here, this wall that you're constantly monitoring. Lovely to see that the students here feel like it's a safe environment, secure place, and they know quite a lot. I had a chat with them. They're very progressive in their thought and mindset. But one would ask, wearing the hijab even inside a girls' school?
So basically this is my attire, this is our attire, and the dress code is basically to get yourself strengthened, to imbibe yourself with courage and faith. You know, we believe in Islam, and we are practicing this at our will. It's not enforced at all. There are many conceptions and misconceptions about it going around, but for myself particularly, I would say that I am here because I really want to be here.
So does the upcoming election affect these women shaping young minds of tomorrow?
Last time, this last Saturday only, we had conducted this election awareness rally.
Great.
These girls, they went out with some hoardings and everything, just to create an awareness that it's a responsibility of each and everyone to vote and how to choose the proper candidates. Excellent. And what we have to see as a candidate. It's not just you see that this is my religion or this is the different religion. What are the things we need to see?
Yeah, the credentials of each candidate, what can they deliver?
Yes, yes.
And are you also encouraging your female children here in the institution to take up politics? Is there something that is that even an approach within your
we have this elections in the school itself. They choose the leaders.
Oh, lovely.
And then they have these like a parliament they have in the school only. And they know how to conduct things, how to take responsibilities as a parliament, how you are responsible to the for the upliftment of each and every member of the school.
I see in every way y'all are empowering those girls, giving them all sorts of, lab educations, practical education, theory. I saw that. So lovely. Election time in Gujarat. What's the mood among the students, especially the older ones? I know their classes are going on, so I'm not able to talk to them. But what would you say? Are they aware?
We are equally and eagerly waiting for the democratic festival coming ahead, and it's not that my girls are not voting, so they are not aware of it. We recently did an election awareness rally where my girls made flyers and pamphlets for educating people that what are the peculiarities they should look into the candidates of all the different parties, that how would you know your candidate? How would you go and select that who is your eligible for your vote? And they went to houses, they were talking to females, elderly people, and telling them that don't look at just one face, but look at that local person whom you will approach post-elections.
These women represent their community proudly.
People are excited.
Yes, and even excited.
Because you know why I'm asking this? Because a lot of Muslim men and women actually, this last elections, refrained from voting. They did not vote at all.
That was our main topic, and that was the topic of awareness. That if a child can aware of people what they want us, that India want that the child should be independent and make awareness to the public.
Yeah. Whoever you want to vote, but at least cast your vote, even if it has to be nota. If you really do not want to vote, then press the nota button. But if not, you've got to mandatorily exercise your franchise.
First you have to take first step for it, then you choose someone.
As a Muslim woman yourself, do you feel empowered here in Gujarat?
Alhamdulillah, what we are doing just now, it's like we are empowered. Maybe people may have some issues, but in our school, we are here just now, we feel empowered.
You feel empowered doing what you're doing?
Yes.
Nearly 58.5 lakh Muslims of Gujarat are concentrated mostly in central, south and in parts of Saurashtra.
Do you believe that Muslims have progressed in Gujarat under the BJP in the last 28 years?
See, progress is not about BJP or any party. Muslims were always progressive, and since last so many years they have realized that ultimately we need to create wealth through legitimate means in business, and for that we need good education. So even in low-lying areas there are lots of affluent Muslims, because in Kalupur and this old city area, there are lots of heritage buildings which are owned by very affluent Muslims. But of course most of them have now moved out, like in Paldi, Navrangpura and Juapura. So
you know, there's this perception that Muslims in Gujarat live in fear. But you know, Adil seems to be thriving. His business is only growing by the day in Gujarat. Adil?
Yeah, and Gujarat has always been a land of entrepreneurs. Whether it be Hindus or Muslims, they've all been doing well all these years.
What is the perception of fear? Is it true even?
In last 20 years, there's no perception of fear as such, and people are doing well on their own. And especially you see a cross-section of people who are working hard and doing well.
Since the 2002 Godhra riots, this minority community has been considered as the vote bank of Congress. How much of that is true in 2022?
हम भी कांग्रेस के सपोर्ट में ही जाएंगे, हम लोग भी कांग्रेस के सपोर्ट में ही जाएंगे, क्योंकि बीजेपी ने जरूरत से ज्यादा महंगाई कर दी है और हर चीज का सेंचुरी मार दी है। डीजल तो सेंचुरी, पेट्रोल तो सेंचुरी, गैस तो 1000 के ऊपर।
ये वोट डालेंगे जो अच्छी सरकार चलावे और जो अच्छा काम करे उसको वोट देंगे।
अच्छा, आम आदमी पार्टी का कोई यहाँ पर मूड है?
नहीं, सब कांग्रेस के लिए, सब कांग्रेस, हम सब कांग्रेस को सपोर्ट करने वाले।
आप AIMIM को कैसे देखते हो? असादुद्दीन ओवैसी,
उनका अभी यहाँ कुछ नहीं है, बी टीम है वो।
बी टीम है।
अच्छा, क्या किसका बी टीम है?
भाजपा की।
अच्छा, ओवैसी भाजपा के बी टीम है।
वो वोट तोड़ने के लिए खड़ा हुआ खाली।
ओवैसी
जो स्टूडेंट धमाल करता है उसी को मॉनिटर बना दो तो फिर स्कूल तो अच्छी चलेगी ना। धमाल नहीं चलने का कारण ये सत्ता चाहिए थी, सत्ता मिल गई तो कौन धमाल करेगा?
पॉलिटिक्स पॉइंट है। और दूसरी बात, भाजपा पार्टी सबसे अच्छी है, उसके अंदर लोग, अभी के नेता खराब है, वाजपेयी जी अच्छे थे जिन्होंने कई एम्स खोले थे कि गवर्नमेंट नौकरी थी। ये भेदभाव और नफरत की राजनीति करते हैं।
इलेक्शन का मूड परिवर्तन का है। इस बार यहाँ परिवर्तन होगा, सत्ता में कोई दूसरी पार्टी आएगी।
Despite this large presence, electoral representation of the community in the last assembly was limited to only 3, and they were all from the Congress.
Out of the 182 assembly constituency in Gujarat, there are only 3 Muslim MLAs representing over 9% of the population. One of them is Gyasuddin, who's Daryapur MLA. For the 4th time, he's contesting. Gyasuddin ji, आप ये बार वोट लोगों को कैसे अट्रैक्ट करोगे वोट डालने के लिए आपको?
हम हमारे काम के आधार से लोगों से वोट मांग रहे हैं कि 3 टर्म से कंटिन्यू में यहाँ पर हूँ और सभी लोगों को मिलजुल कर सभी समाजों का काम किया है। और खास करके अगर मुस्लिम समाज की बात करें तो 2014 से जब से केंद्र में नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार आई है, मुस्लिम समाज में एक भय है कि जिस तरीके से बुलडोजर चल रहे हैं, जिस तरीके से धार्मिक संसदें बुलाई जा रही हैं और जिस तरीके से लोगों को प्रताड़ित किया जा रहा है, तो उन तमाम चीजों को लेकर के मुस्लिम समाज बहुत ही भयभीत है। और मुस्लिम समाज अपनी सुरक्षा को ध्यान में रखते हुए ही वोटिंग करने वाला है, क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी तो कभी भी मुस्लिम को एक भी सीट गुजरात में देती नहीं है।
मगर मुसलमान भी कभी भी एक बीजेपी नेता को वोट नहीं देता।
बीजेपी नेता को इसलिए वोट नहीं देता कि बीजेपी के लोग ये कहते थे शुरू में कि हमारी सभा से उठकर के आप चले जाओ, और वो हमेशा से खुलकर के राजनीति ऐसी ही करते हैं कि जिससे मुस्लिम समाज जो है उनके साथ ना आए। उनको मुसलमानों को प्रताड़ित कर कर उनके साथ ऐसा व्यवहार करके वो 85% जो हिंदू समाज के वोट है उसका वो ध्रुवीकरण करना चाहते हैं, और उनको भी ये जो है कि उनको मुस्लिम समाज के वोटों की जरूरत नहीं है।
Days before the first phase of polling in Gujarat on 26 November, ruling party BJP released its manifesto. It promised to implement the contentious Uniform Civil Code if they come to power.
Will you accept something like a Uniform Civil Code? आप कैसे देखते हो?
Civil Code की जो बात हो रही है, I mean to say that we have no problem if the judiciary is agreeing and it is going on process. We agree always when the judiciary has agreed.
The due process is followed, you're okay?
Yeah, we have no problem.
Whatever progress has been done, it has been with the self-sustainability and the self-reliability of the individuals. Otherwise, government role in the progressing of the Muslims have been very limited so far, and we still wish to have that larger support is being provided by the government.
बहुत अच्छा सा माहौल है गुजरात के अंदर, मुसलमान समृद्ध हो रहा है, शांति सुकून का माहौल है। महिला है जो है यहाँ पर वो रात को अकेले अपने कोई भी निकल सकती है। ये गुजरात के अंदर शासन है।
Discrimination is there. We are fighting for the basic civic unities in Juhapura. Okay. We have formed one NGO called the AIMIM Foundation. Nobody is listening.
The minority community of Gujarat wants development, stability and prosperity for them like any other voter. In this mix, AIMIM, which claims to be the representative of the Muslim community, is trying to pinch in the vote share, while Congress and AAP are perceived as sympathetic to the community. 64% Muslims voted for the Congress in 2017 Gujarat Assembly elections, and about 20% chose the Lotus. It's important to note a large chunk of Muslims in Gujarat also decided to refrain from voting.
From what I see, largely are self-reliant. They've managed to live on with what they have, are quite satisfied with the way things are going, and have somehow become numb and immune to the political narrative around. But of course, inflation is the issue that they're all battling with, just like people of every other community, which was really one of the highlights when I spoke to a lot of them. But apart from that, the pain point still remains the Godhra riots. It appears a lot of them have, even though moved on, still refer to it as something that they can never forget. Well, let me cut across on the other side to the netas of all political parties on how do they look at the Muslim vote bank and what appeal do they want to make to those ahead of elections here. When you speak of a minority sentiment ahead of elections in a certain state, one can't do without checking if the AIMIM is making an entry. The AIMIM making its way into Gujarat right ahead of elections. Asaduddin Owaisi right here with me to see how much do you think you have a chance this time in Gujarat?
Well, 2 years ago when the municipal elections were held in Gujarat, we had contested in a very short time. And we could manage to win corporators in Ahmedabad, Bharuch, Madrasa and Godhra. In fact, in Godhra for a few months we had a deputy mayor also over there. And now we are contesting in 14 assembly constituencies. One candidate withdrew. He was purchased by the Congress party in a constituency called Bapu Nagar. So we are contesting 13 assembly segments. We are trying our best. All our party members are working very hard.
Don't you think it's a little too late in the scene for AIMIM to jump in at this point? And I have been to some of the areas, Muslim-dominated areas, and they strongly believe AIMIM's bid is to divide the votes. How would you appeal to them?
Well, you see, that is one argument given. But when we are contesting 13 seats and we are not contesting the remaining 169, that is for them to prove whether they can win Gujarat or not. And as far as we contesting 13 is because we have our municipal corporators over there in Jamalpur, in Vejalpur. We have strong party unit presence in Ahmedabad, in Daryapur and in Dani Limda, in Vadgam. So we are contesting, we are trying to convince people because it's the need of the hour for the Muslim community is to have a semblance of political leadership. And here you don't have an effective opposition. And despite being 9% population, you have only 3 MLAs getting elected. The same, the Patel community have 42 MLAs. And that is reflected in the socio-economic indicators. You have now only 1% Muslim representation in the government employment. And you go to any, as you said, you must have gone to the areas. You've seen government schools in Muslim areas being closed for no reason whatsoever. There's this black law called Disturbed Areas Act, wherein a border is being created of a Muslim area and non-Muslim area where Muslims are not given permission to buy houses. You have town planning plan is not sanctioned in Muslim areas. So these are various problems which I feel a strong political
has failed to address. But at the same time, don't you think, since you really vociferously speak for Muslim rights, the community's upliftment, somehow unity within the community itself is lacking. And a party like the AIMIM somehow is, not really symbolizing unity, rather it's splitting the vote bank extensively. Politically, I understand your point, but otherwise...
There is no truth in that allegation. Because I didn't contest from last 27 years, BJP is winning. In 1984 was the last time a Muslim MP got elected to Lok Sabha from Gujarat. You have Congress MLAs joining in Madhya Pradesh, BJP, forming a government. I was not responsible. Rahul Gandhi lost from Amethi. I didn't contest. 400 odd assembly seats were contested by Congress in UP. How many did they win? How many Muslims won from Congress party?
Do you think the minority Muslims, if I could specify Muslims in the state here in Gujarat, have they moved on from that, from what happened?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense there is no option but for you to move, and no in the sense when you are so much hurt, how can you forget that? That pain will always be there. That justice is always denied. You see the case of Bilkis Banu. Under the pretext of so-called remission policy, all the rape accused have been released, and they are celebrated. लड्डू खिलाए उनको और ये कहा उनके संस्कार अच्छे थे इसलिए छोड़ दिया.
Now the center itself is now, that apart, Bilkis Banu's is also one of in your manifesto, I guess.
Yeah, for justice, for social justice is our agenda. Social justice can't be the agenda of just political parties. It is the agenda of Indian Constitution. We want equality. There should not be caste system. There should not be untouchability. We all are equal. We all are born equal. We should die equal. Simple. So social justice is our agenda.
You know, would you say that Muslims in Gujarat, largely the minorities there, are happy?
Muslims in Gujarat or in India are mostly poor people. They are downtrodden. They are marginalized. But the same is the case.
Not entirely. I wouldn't say entirely. There's a stark. Yeah, there's
I'm not saying entirely.
extremists.
No, mostly. That's what the Sachar Committee report says.
Then 70 years of Congress in power, what did they do to the primary vote bank Muslims?
So if that is the failure of Congress, so be it. I would admit that. No issue. We need to correct ourselves. We will correct ourselves. But that is the case with most of the Hindus as well. There is a very tiny minority in India which is rich, comfortable and affluent. Otherwise, most of the people, whether a Hindu or Muslim, Dalit or non-Dalit, they are like ordinary citizens. They are in crisis, and particularly last 6-7 years, the crisis is really enhanced because of the inflation and the anti-people policies and because of the unemployment.
One of the youngest leaders and the fiercest one in Gujarat, Harsh Sanghvi, joining me right here, right ahead of polls. Harsh ji, यहाँ पर law and order की situation की बात करें गुजरात में, तो आपका क्या assurance है लोगों को?
देखिए, गुजरात अपनी लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की सेफ्टी के बारे में पहचाना जाता है। 2002 से 2022 का गुजरात का ये सफर, खासतौर पे आज भी हर एक गुजराती मोदी जी और अमित शाह जी को इसके लिए आभार मानते हैं। 2002 पहले का ये गुजरात, जो गुजरात के पोरबंदर, राजकोट, अहमदाबाद, वडोदरा, सूरत, ये सभी शहर अपने कानूनी व्यवस्थाओं से नहीं जाने जाते थे। वहाँ के जो लोकल गुंडे हैं उसके नाम से ये शहर जाने जाते थे। आज गुजरात खासतौर पे सुरक्षा के विषय में देश में नंबर 1 है। आज भी हमारे वहाँ 2 बजे तक महिलाएं गरबा खेलती हैं और किसी भी प्रकार की घटना गुजरात में कहीं ना कहीं बनती नहीं है।
अमित शाह ने जो बात करने, जो अपील किया है पीस के लिए, ऐसे बोला भी है दंगे के बारे में। बहुत सालों से कांग्रेस के अंडर दंगे हुए थे, अभी जब बीजेपी है तो बिल्कुल शांत है। आप बोलते हो कि कम्युनल हार्मनी प्रेवलेंट है गुजरात?
ये सही बात है ना। मैं तो उनका आभार मानता हूँ कि मेरी उम्र के नौजवानों को याद दिलाया। ये जरूरी है। 2002 पहले का गुजरात कैसा था आप सब जानते हैं। आप जिस शहर, अहमदाबाद शहर में आज खड़े हो, ये अहमदाबाद शहरों की गलियों में जाने से पहले पूछना पड़ता था कि आज कर्फ्यू है या शहर चालू है। उस प्रकार का ये गुजरात था और आज का गुजरात बिल्कुल अलग है। तो 2002 से 2022 की ये जो यात्रा है वो संघर्ष और साहस की यात्रा है। गुजरात के एक एक नागरिकों ने यातना सही है किस प्रकार से केंद्र सरकार द्वारा तकलीफें होती थी। आज 2002 से 2022 में एक नया गुजरात बना है। हर एक गुजराती आज बोल रहा है कि ये गुजरात मैंने बनाया है। गांव-गांव में मोदी के नारे गूंजते हैं।
डू यू फील कि हिंदू मुस्लिम के बीच में हार्मनी है यहाँ पर?
गुजरात में सभी समाज एक होकर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। आप देखिए, ईद के त्यौहार में सभी हिंदू भाई साथ में होते हैं। गणपति जी के त्यौहार में सभी मुसलमान भाई साथ में होते हैं। गुजरात में समाजों पे बात नहीं होती है। ये अलग बात है कि चुनावी मौसम में अलग अलग पार्टियां आके सब समाज को यहाँ पे बंटवारे करने की कोशिश करती है, लेकिन हमारे वहाँ हम तो सब समाज को साथ में लेके चलते हैं।
A quick ground assessment of the Muslim minority here in Gujarat throws up one predominant problem: inadequate representation of Muslims in the 182 Gujarat Assembly seats. Out of the 60 lakh odd population, 10% of Muslims in Gujarat, only 3 MLAs representing them in the assembly, all from the Congress. And it's not just the BJP not distributing tickets to Muslims in Muslim-dominated areas, it's also the Congress, who ideally appease the Muslims, who have reduced ticket distribution to Muslims in those dominating areas over the years. Now with Aam Aadmi Party and the AIMIM in the fray here, it appears the Muslim vote bank will be divided further. It's all for them now to find a solution and come together as a united front for their voice to be actually heard. Apart from that, from what we assessed, communal harmony certainly prevails here, and we can surely say that the Muslim community in Gujarat have progressed over the years.